PDI Communication Systems is a US-based manufacturer. We've been manufacturing healthcare-grade televisions for well over 40 years now, here in Springboro, Ohio, and we have about 72 employees here that work in our manufacturing facilities. Like I said, we are an American manufacturer. We have a location here in Springboro. We're ISO certified. We focus on continuous improvement. We have in-house engineering, manufacturing from metal fabrication, machining, powder coating, assembly, and others. We build products for the healthcare environment only. We don't do any products for K through 12 schools or sports bars and arenas or hotels. We're solely focused on healthcare, and we design all of our products with that in mind. We understand that healthcare televisions and products get a high usage, many times higher than at-home televisions or personal devices. We design with the intent for the products to last 7 years, but oftentimes they last much, much longer. A couple of weeks ago, I was working with a facility in California, and when they were able to show me the serial numbers on the televisions, we determined their TVs were about 20 years old. So we get quite a bit more than 7 years expectancy. We do have a 7-year warranty on all of our support arms that are produced, and we also have a 3-year warranty on all of our televisions and power supplies. Being a US-based manufacturer, not having to deal with import or freight and logistics, it gives us a faster turnaround time. Many times we can ship within a few days. Sometimes if it's a custom part, it may take us up to 2 weeks, but we do warehouse items here in Ohio for easy, quick turnaround. We serve the healthcare market, as I said a moment ago, but in particular, we have products in over 2,000 dialysis and infusion centers, 78 of the top 100 hospitals in the U.S., outpatient surgery centers, many senior living, long-term care, now post-acute and step-down rehab centers that have become so popular. We engage with partners both in telehealth, patient engagement software. We'll talk a little bit about some of the recent undertakings with some EHR companies and where we're looking to position ourselves for the future. We're the leader in low voltage arm-mounted healthcare televisions. We have over an 80% market share, and we've been producing arm-mounted televisions and the complete systems longer than anyone else in the market. We do various screen sizes from 16-inch up to 22-inch, and again, it's a complete system. It's a support arm, a television, a power supply, a wall bracket, and we work with virtually any type of signal provider out there, from Dish Network, DirecTV, cable, an antenna, IPTV. So we really give the facilities flexibility and breadth when looking to connect signals to devices for television reception and others. I mentioned we have the 80% market share, and we're also the only complete manufacturer. We make a television, an arm, the mount, power supply. While we do have competition from a few other manufacturers, they don't have that complete offering of an all-in-one. Some people would say throat to choke. I prefer hand to shake, and that we support you from beginning to end. We mentioned healthcare televisions, and sometimes it just kind of goes in one ear and out the other ear of some, but it is important. They're designed for safety, for longevity, but they're also designed to keep some very important things in healthcare, whether it be patient safety. Yes, we're 5 times more stringent on our shock potentials than a consumer grade product. So if you have an IV or some barrier breaking your skin, it does protect you in that regards much stronger, but it's also flame resistant. So God forbid if anything should ever happen in a facility, the television product will not self-fuel a fire. So for the test, you must catch the device on fire and then remove the source. So if we use a Bunsen burner or something, we remove the source. It must self-extinguish, so it doesn't give off these plumes of black smoke that anybody who's seen plastic burn can attest. It's pretty nasty. Infection control. We make a lot of the products with antimicrobial plastics or powder coating. Actually, I said a lot, but basically all of our devices now have some level of infection control on them. I mentioned the time that healthcare television is on. On average, it's 18 hours a day, where a consumer or a household television may be on much less than 6 hours a day. We have the ability to clone devices very easily. That's a healthcare kind of feature where you can set up either a thumb drive or do it remotely and push programming content onto every device. Less time in the room, or possibly no time in the room, interfering with patients, care teams, or others. We build the devices to have very controllable sound levels, both volume limiters as well as wireless or Bluetooth audio. We have pillow speakers, which direct the sound to the patient in the bed rather than across the room. Our devices have headphone jacks, and we can turn on and off the internal speakers at any time if a patient becomes a little insistent on having a loud television. For longevity, we've designed our products to operate at a lower operational temperature. So we reduce the heat factor, which heat is the number one factor of failure in an electronic device. We lower that level. We now have many enhanced entertainment and patient education solutions that we'll talk about in a moment. The patients, they're obviously our most important customer, if you will. I realize the healthcare facility is really the customer, but we're all looking out for the benefits to the patient. So our devices are designed to be articulated and moved around rather than the patient having to position themselves to watch the device, which could lead to strains or IVs in certain arms or areas where they can't necessarily roll on or move. A 16-inch TV, arms reach away, about like your laptop, equals a 90-inch viewing angle at 8 feet. So you're getting a much larger TV experience within the confines of your chair or your bed. We do have UL listing and ratings on our products for that safety standard, both depending on where you're at. The National Fire Protection Agency wants to know that you're regulated, as well as some of your inspectors, depending on your state regulations and bodies, may oftentimes require UL listing on devices. We have forward-facing speakers to push that sound out of the patient instead of the back or the side, where it may be heard more prevalent by nurses or somebody else in a semi-private room. As I mentioned, we have headphone jacks as well as Bluetooth wireless pairing available. The devices have a USB charging port on the front. These are available for cloning or changing channel lineups, but they're also available as a charging port for a handheld device like a smartphone or a tablet. The devices are encrypted with ProIdiom technology to allow the decryption of high definition content being pushed out to the device. And some of our devices are med tabs. You can do streaming services like Netflix or Amazon Prime Video or Pandora and others. Oftentimes we find that our arms last even longer than our TVs. So we have a very conscious mindset to make our products backwards compatible, so that you can put a television that's made today on an arm that might have supported a TV 10, 12, 15 years ago. So minimizing the cost in upgrading and minimizing the time in the room that you may have to remove a bracket, remove an arm. Those devices can stay and you put a new TV on. So on the left, we show our P10, which is our oldest LCD television, upgraded through currently a 16-inch. And then on the right, you'll see our older 15-inch can be upgraded now to a 22-inch. So those are our two current models, our 16-inch and our 22-inch, giving the largest viewing size of any product in the industry today. Good pictorial example on the left is a older P10 that's probably 15 years old. And on the right, it's being replaced by a 16-inch current technology, whether it be a touchscreen for our full smart experience or a simple television at a lower price point. This is our 22-inch. As you can see, it is a, I apologize, that jumped through on me very fast. That's our 22-inch. As you can see, it has a very large viewing screen, easy for the older populations, maybe eye strain, large areas. This one is a touch screen. As you can see, you can touch TV, games, relaxation, social media, Netflix, and others. Very intuitive, much like an iPad or an Android tablet that you would experience at home. In our 16-inch, we do make a standard TV, what we will call sometimes our dumb unit, or on the right side, we have our MedTab 16, which is our smart unit, and we go up to the 22-inch. We do not make the 22-inch in a non-smart device. It is only a smart. In our arms, we have 3 different series. Our 1400 series is our most popular. It has nitrogen gas struts, 62-inch maximum reach, can hold 13 pounds, very easy to navigate the cables in and out. So if you want to use multiple cables, such as a coax cable, CAT cable, maybe a HDMI cable, very easy to lay them in. No cables need to be cut and soldered or connected. And in the event that you have a failure, 5, 6, 7 years down the road, they're very field serviceable. You slide off a cover, drop the cables in, slide the cover back in place. It also gives a wider bend radius than the 500 series arm. The 500 series arm, the cables are internal. We can only fit 2 of them. So typically a coax and a CAT cable for internet connectivity, and they are internal. So there's some space constraints there. We cannot do an HDMI cable through those or a USB cable of any type. And it is a tighter radius, so they do have a higher ability to break the cable over a shorter period of time. We do also make a larger arm in our 1000 series. It's the biggest that we make. It does also have nitrogen gas struts. It's a 72-inch reach, and it will hold up to 26 pounds. Often facilities that are doing any access type controls for paraplegics and quadriplegics will mount a second monitor off to the side, and we make brackets for these. So you have the weight of the television plus this second touch device where they may be training patients how to interact with devices and solutions when they're at home. Some pictures and examples of chair type settings. On the right's a pediatric healthcare setting, and in the middle is a dialysis center. We do a lot of work in dialysis, oncology treatment centers, other areas where they have chairs and shorter stays with these devices. We've also worked with a few chair manufacturers to build kind of an all-in-one solution with Champion, IOA, and La-Z-Boy. If you have a center or an experience where a chair may fit, let us know. We'll talk and work with you and work directly with the chair manufacturer to make sure you're seeing the right offerings. Not every chair they make is compatible with our chair mounts, but we want to make sure you get a good experience and have a great product. Power supplies, all of our devices on the arm mounted are low voltage. That helps reduce the shock potential, and it helps get our UL listening. It's actually required. I shouldn't say helps, but our output voltages are typically 24 volts. And in the event that something should happen to the coax cable where the power is passed through with the RF signal to the set, it has fuses or circuit breakers. It will immediately trip. There is no shock potential or making the arm, if you will, a live source like it could be if it had a 110 volt AC power. So we'd make that in a wall bracket, which we call our slim mount. On the left, where it's incorporated right into the wall mounting bracket. In the middle, we make an external one, which could be used with our ceiling mounts or our floor mounts or any other device that maybe doesn't have a wall mounting bracket. And typically, that would be either mounted to the wall or concealed inside of a cabinet or some out of the area way. It does have, both devices actually have a 6-foot AC power cord with them. On the right is our central power supply, where we would put these in a remote closet, maybe a phone closet or an IT area. You would have a power cord powering the device. You would have your RF cable signal coming into the device, and then 10 outputs. Each of those outputs would have the RF signal and the low voltage power on one coax. We do have a requirement for the coax cable to be a solid copper center conductor and a copper shield for better power transmission with less resistance. But you can run this 150 feet to each bed, chair, or location and keep the power supplies out of the patient care space. Some facilities prefer that tremendously. I mentioned the cable, and this is important to note. Anytime you use a central power supply where you're gonna pass power down the coax cable, it has to be solid copper with a copper braid. We say this repeatedly to people, and inevitably somebody will put in an aluminum or a copper clad over steel, and it ends up having too much resistance, and the power doesn't get transmitted efficiently to the device, and there's a voltage drop or loss, and the devices don't power up or they flicker. So the maximum run, again, is 150 feet. We have some recommendations of coax manufacturers. We've tested their products. We know they work. We strongly recommend from Alpha, Belden, or Westpen. If you want to jot down those numbers, or we can share them with you separately as well. And there's also a plenum rated one if you're going in a confined space. We also have products that are power over Ethernet. For the IT side, it is a PoE++. It's a higher standard than a telephone or a security camera would be. It does have 72 watts per port available. We've UL listed some mid-span and micro semi devices to be approved with our products for UL listing. Very popular in new construction, where you've got access internal on the walls, and it's easier to run the switches, the power injectors, and the Cat6 cable. One of the huge benefits is greater distance. Now you can have a more confined space and go up to 328 feet or 100 meters from the inserter to the television. Makes it much easier to balance. If anybody on here has worked in coax and RF systems, you can see the difference, or the pains that taps and switches and splitters, I should say, put on a coax system. Maybe you designed or balanced a great system, and a boss came in and says, hey, we want a TV ran to this nurse's station, or we want one ran to someone's office, and then they start tapping and splitting off, and before you know it, your balance is gone well offline. So PoE is much easier in that regard. I don't know where everybody is located, but we do also have HCAI, which is the equivalent of OshPod for seismic areas. Used to be just California, but now I know seismic constraints reach out to other parts of the country as well. So we have support arms, televisions, wall mounts, floor mounts, and reinforcing plates, all OshPod and HCAI pre-approved, so that you can just give the document numbers, these OPM numbers, to the inspector, and you don't have to get a site inspection or go through any sort of engineering expenses and work to get products approved for those seismic restricted areas. On our larger screen televisions, we do manufacture 24, 32, 43, 55, and 65-inch, what we call large screen sets. These are typically mounted across the room from a patient. They are controlled by either a pillow speaker or an IR remote. They are not touchscreen. Everyone we make is smart, but it doesn't have to be connected to the internet out of the box. If you don't have internet capability available, you can still get TV, games, and relaxation without any internet hit or bandwidth requirements at all. If you do have capability for internet connectivity, whether it be wired or wireless, we have great features to take this smart television and really expand it out and give you customization through our Genio solution, and also now recently with Epic MyChart Bedside TV. If anyone is an Epic user on the call, we're working very closely with them. They have an Android solution. We have the only Android healthcare grade television, and we're working tightly to release and launch that. They are in early adopter phase, I think with 5 facilities, and Epic plans to send it out broad to other customers around the first of the year. TVs are designed for pillow speaker navigation. We do work with Kerbel and other manufacturers for a custom design pillow speaker to give you mouse control, to make those buttons a little easier to navigate. It has home button and back buttons to get in and out of icons and tiles. Also, because the device is Bluetooth compatible, we have Bluetooth medical grade keyboards available that can be easily paired to the device and moved to other rooms and paired to their device. So it allows for efficient use of a keyboard within a care setting. I mentioned Epic momentarily, but their MyChart Bedside TV will have access to the MyCare team, my health schedule, pre and post-op instructions, patient medical information, a digital whiteboard for patient information. Also, streaming entertainment such as Netflix, Hulu, remote device management, education, surveys, and more. So that is coming very soon. If you have an existing PDI TV, we should talk about that offline, and we can tell you which products are coming out that we'll work with and what we can do. If you have older devices that are not new enough for their requirements, we have some solutions there as well. We've mentioned pillow speakers and wireless keyboards. Also, there are gyro mouse available. You don't have to buy these through us. Amazon has these for $30 or so. On the front, it is a wireless remote control. It also can use gyro or hand controls. And on the back side, it has a very small chiclet type QWERTY keyboard that you can enter into the television. We also have a patient IR remote, which will not allow access to any of the setups or controls of the device, but it will give you channel up and down, volume up and down, that back and that home that I mentioned, as well as mouse control and others. Typical examples of where and how TVs get installed within a healthcare setting, at the foot wall of the bed, over the white board, in a smaller, this is a center picture, is in a oncology treatment center, and on the right in a setting in a long-term care assisted living where they want to have them out in public spaces as well. I mentioned Genio a little earlier. This gives us the ability to take smart TV that PDI manufacturers and give you increased controls and customization. We can put your corporate logo on the screen. We can customize it to put meal ordering apps or social media, telehealth or telemedicine controls, video chats with patients and family members and loved ones. Our icons are extremely customizable. They allow you as the facility as well as us to assist, to add and remove. We can set them up by departments and have very customized areas for maybe the elderly where you want a limited control, or pediatrics, maybe where you want a broader control with some games and some social activities. Very customizable. You can send messages, you can conduct surveys. We can present educational content, menus. Maybe activity director wants to show events or upcoming events. Marketing team can promote upcoming events, from blood draws to mammograms to a new center that maybe you've opened that's affiliated that you want to publicize. You can again do video calls, send messages like this one on the screen. There's a lot of customized capabilities through Genio. This is just a small example of some of the icons that we can pull in from ABC, CBS, LinkedIn, Twitter, some simple games. My Care, you can bring up a Google Doc of bios of the care team and physicians and nurses that are attending to patients throughout their stay. Do meal ordering with Seaboard and others as well. Switching to our pro services side, PDI has a full consultative and engineering team for installations. We do head-end installation, television installation, cable pulls, whether it be coax or Ethernet. We do reoccurring maintenance and inspections, remediation or service, technical support, and beyond with warranty. If you have any television service needs, please let us know. We can handle installation of the installation and removal of old television and disposal, cable head ends, dish, DirecTV, a broad procurement of installation type services. I should have waited and switched the page. Dish, DirecTV, cable, streaming, and IPTV are all services that we offer. Our televisions are IPTV built in. There's no middleware. It's a very seamless and cost-effective solution to run from your dish or DirecTV receiver to the device, or through Spectrum, Comcast, or wherever your cable provider is. And we have other solutions outside of that as well. And so there's no middleware. It's simple, not complicated, no amplifiers. And we have compatible head-ends with COM3000 from DirecTV or Blonder Tongue and other streaming services. How else can we help you? I think we bring tremendous value to our healthcare clients. We have quick delivery of a U.S. manufacturer and UL listed products. We have smart patient engaged cloud solutions. We are on the latest edge of technologies in IPTV and PoE. We have warranted and guaranteed installations. We can do hosted webinars for members within your facility, whether they be on the on a committee or maybe at the seed level. We can do demos live from our showroom here in Ohio, stream through Teams like this or other services, and bring the image to the whole entire team. We also have 4 regional sales members, from Cindy in the west to Rich in the north. Jeff has our mid-region. I don't want to call it mid-Atlantic because it doesn't go all the way to the Atlantic coast and New Jersey and others. And then Matthew's our south and mid-Atlantic area. So if you're in one of these areas, we definitely have a support person directly available for you. Also, you can check out our social sites from Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram, online, pdirm.com, where we have a full document library that you can research anything from specifications to installation guidelines to even service components and service requests you can make online as well.